The Garrity Company has two bond issues outstanding. Both bonds will pay $100 annually. That is a coupon payment of $100 annually, with $100 or $1,000 of par value that's paid upon maturity. Bond L has a maturity of 15 years, and Bond S has a maturity of 1 year. So in this question, which there are two parts, part A is wanting to ask you, what will the value of the bond be when the going rate is 5%, 8%, and 12%? So that is, as the yield in the marketplace goes up, what will happen to the value of the bond? So just so we can identify the difference between the two bonds, let's do bond L, which is the long bond, which has 15 years to maturity, and bond S, that has 1 year to maturity. Now you could do these all by hand, but I'm sure you're realizing at this rate the fast solution is to use functions in Excel. So we'll use again the PV function, so we're trying to find the present value. And so the rate is the amount given right there. Now really quick, we're going to use the F4 function, but we want to be able to lock in column 4 or column H, but we want to be able to drag sideways. Or we want to drag down, sorry. Number of periods. The payment is 100. The future value is the 1,000 that we will get back. And we're receiving the amount at the end of the period. So what we can see is as the discount rate increases, the value of the bond goes down. And that makes sense because when the discount rate's 5, that means the market bond's paying $50, but we're getting 100. When it's 8%, the market bond's paying 80, and we're getting 100. So we're still getting better, but not as much. Then when we get to 12%, what that's telling us is the market bond that has a face value of 1,000 is making a payment of 120, but we're only getting 100. When the maturity is shorter, let's see what happens. So we'll go use our PV function again. There's our rate. Our number of payments is 1. The payment again is 100. The future value is 1,000. And payments received at the end. So what we can tell is when there's 15 years versus 1 year, there's quite a difference in the value of the bond. And at 8%, bond L is worth more. But when the rate goes up to 12%, we don't lose as much in bond S. So that moves us to part 2. Why does the long-term 15-year bond fluctuate more when interest rates change than on the shorter-term bond? And the reason behind that is this 5, 8, and 12% is influencing 15 years of cash flows versus 1 year of cash flows. That is, there's more cash flows out in the future for this rate to impact. And for that reason, there is a greater deviation with a larger interest rate. There's a greater deviation in price of the bond when the interest rate changes, when the maturity of the bond is greater.